Okay, if not, then I'll just want to move on. Okay, so let's say, for example, okay, I should see my own stay property as an investment tool. So what is the mindset I should have? Okay, what is the mindset I should have? So number one, you have to understand a few things first. Okay, these are the different ways that property can make money for you. Capital gain, leverage, forced savings, release of funds. These are the different ways property can make money from you. So if let's say, for example, even your own state property, you may actually want to see how to maximize the return with these four ways. Okay, so number one, capital gain. Okay, question. For capital gain, right, does the percentage return increase if you buy larger properties or not? Yes or no? Okay, don't mind, just help me answer on the chat. So let's say, for example, I want to buy $1 million property versus 2 million property. Does my percentage return increase for larger property? Okay, thank you so much. Our answer is no. Answer is no. Okay. Okay, but the absolute return will increase. Okay, so I have this Excel spreadsheet to illustrate my point here. Okay, so of course, I have done a very simplified way to calculate the cost. It's all as a percentage of the purchase price. So assuming if you buy $1 million property, okay, you can see that the percentage return doesn't change. Okay, the percentage return doesn't change. If you buy a $2 million property, okay, the percentage return doesn't change. Okay, but if you look carefully, your overall profit will change. So let's say this is a 2 million property, and I am assuming that you borrowing 70% loan at the interest of 3% per annum. Okay, and you sell 5 years later. So this is what the chart does. Again, I will email this spreadsheet. Then you all can do what you call that, dive in detail. Okay. Then you will see that if you buy 2 million, the overall profit. So of course, year one, you have to fork out cash, about 700,000. Then because it's own stay, there's no rental. So over the years, you have to pay the mortgage plus the admin fee or management fees. Then when you sell, you get the money back. So let's say you buy a 2 million property over 5 years, you can achieve a profit of about 186. As you can see, 186,000. But if you actually buy, let's say, a 1 million property, okay, you can see that your profit only 93, even though both are 4%. Okay, so in this case, right, again, to get better capital gain in terms of absolute, should you buy a bigger property or a smaller property? Okay, just to make sure you all get my point. I know this is very simple question. So let's say I want to have a bigger absolute return. Okay, thank you so much. Then probably one way to have the investment mindset for properties, of course, within your affordability, you should buy as big as possible. For reason I mentioned just now, basically your absolute return can be higher. Okay, next, leverage means borrowing. Question. Does leverage always increase returns or not? Yes or no? So if you borrow more, does your percentage return always increase? Yes or no? If you borrow more, does your percentage return always increase? Yes or no? Percentage may not increase, but absolute value increase. Okay, so I got a few answers. Okay, question. If you borrow more, does the percentage return always increase? Okay, this one I need more of your thing. Yeah, let's say you borrow, no. So let's say, for example, if it's a 1 million property, you can choose to borrow 50, 60, 70%. Doesn't mean they're always buying bigger property. Okay, there are people who like buy property, don't want to borrow money. Okay. So the question here is this, let's say $1 million property, instead of borrowing 30%, you choose to borrow 70%. Does your return always increase? Okay, no. Okay, no. Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe I just wait for two more answer. So the question here is this: if you borrow more, does your return always increase? Okay, maybe I wait for two more. Okay, because this is interesting point. Okay, some say no, some say yes. Okay, so again, let me just go to the spreadsheet. So of course, will be good after that. You're going to pay the spreadsheet. So I have this case. So you can see down, assuming I buy $1 million property. Okay, maybe I blow this up a bit. Okay, I blow this up a bit. Okay, $1 million property. You can see that I borrow 70%, I got 40%, 4% return. If I only borrow 30%, okay, can you see that my return actually drops? If I borrow more, my return actually go up. If I borrow more, okay, my return actually go up. Okay, but it's still correct. It doesn't always mean that you borrow more, your return will always go up. There is one particular situation whereby, you borrow more, in fact, your return come down. Under what scenario? Okay. Under what scenario? Okay. Whereby you borrow more and yet your return will come down. Okay, JK got half the answer already. Okay, thank you so much as the interest rate. So you can see this one only works whereby the interest rate is lower than the price increase. Okay, interest over price, assuming the interest rate go up to, like, let's say, for example, 6%, right? Can you see the more you borrow, the return will reduce? Let me see. Let me just confirm. Okay, maybe it's not that obvious. Okay, so let's say I put 7%. Okay, the more you borrow, okay, the impact is actually not there. Okay, the impact is actually not there. So let's say, for example, interest got to 6%, right? You can see if I borrow, oh, sorry. I made a mistake. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Okay, repeat. Okay, so let's say I go back to $1 million property. If interest rate go up to 6%, right? If I borrow lesser, okay, I should change this. Okay, so in fact, the return is higher, but if I borrow more, then the return actually came down. Okay, so basically, the rich have to play the game. So number one, my point is generally speaking, if you have the investment mindset, okay, generally speaking, if you have an investment mindset, you should borrow more or borrow less. Okay, so let's say, for example, you want to buy property for investment. Generally speaking, you should borrow more or borrow less to increase your percentage return, more or less. Okay, no answer. Okay, maybe it's confusing. So, Okay, thank you so much. You should borrow more. You should borrow more. So the general understanding is for you to increase your property investment, about property investment, you should borrow more. Okay. The only time whereby it doesn't work is when the interest rate is going to be higher than the potential price increase. Okay, so you can see, let's say, for example, even 4%, 4% interest is still lower. Okay, if you borrow more, okay, I go back to 30%. I'll go back 30%, your return is 3.2. But if you actually borrow up to 70%, okay, interesting. Oh, okay. So it's 30%, okay, 3.5, 70% is 4%. Okay, so you can see that if, let's say, for example, if the interest rate is high or quite close to the potential increase, okay, then it doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that is something you have to take note. Okay, sorry, I know I make it a little bit confusing. So maybe what you want to do is you go back and play this spreadsheet. But the general point I want to put across here is this. Generally speaking, if it's a property for investment, we borrow more. Okay, we borrow as much as we can. That is the general principle. Okay, but this principle doesn't work if, let's say, interest rate is very close to the potential price increase. Okay, as per this scenario. Okay, just this point, do me a favor. Okay, I know I've been confusing. Okay, again, whatever I want to express here is this. Generally speaking, you should borrow as much as possible. If you want to do property, if it's property for investment, okay, the only time it doesn't work is that the interest rate is very close to the potential price increase. If this point is okay, don't mind just help me put the 1. If you are totally lost already, please help me put the 0. Okay, for this particular point, I want to put across. Say, help me type 1 if this point is okay. Put a 0 if you are lost. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thanks. So please play around the spreadsheet to try to understand, the interest rate sensitivity versus the, what do you call that? The potential price increase. Okay, if I borrow less, it means I use more my cash to fund the rest of the purchase. That is correct. Is 5% price increase per annum realistic estimate. So Rickson, basically my 5% come from here. Remember? I actually have done some research. Okay, this is District 15. Okay, of course, not all the projects there. Those projects whereby their transaction in 2019 and transaction in 2024. And like I said, the average is about 24% over the past 5 years. So a simple average about 5%. So, you can actually hit like 40%. You can see here. You can also sway enough, only 10% of 5 years. So average 25%. So that's how I actually get my 5%. And if you ask me, I think it's realistic. Okay, so we should not pay down on our housing loan. Okay, good question. So of course, basically, this one again depend on interest rate. So if you ask me, as long as your cash is able to generate returns higher than interest rate, then yes, I would actually drag to pay down my housing loan. Okay, so let's say, for example, of course, if I get a choice, because once you take loan, right, then it's actually start in. But if I have a choice, or put it this way. So let's say now I got, like this case, I got 200,000 of spare cash. So should I pay down my loan, or should I use it? It depends on this 12,000. Can I actually generate more than 3% somewhere else? Okay, iPad, hope I answer your question. So if let's say my 12,000, I can generate 5%, of course, I won't be paying down. But my 12,000 can only generate 2%, then I might as well go and pay now. Okay, iPad, hope I answer your question. Yeah, sure. Kit Hin, you can go and study the spreadsheet. I'm not too sure which part you're not convinced. How do you assess the again loan? Again, I use historical. Okay, as per this spreadsheet. So yes, I will send this spreadsheet to you. Over the past 5 years, have increased by average 5%. Yeah, Kevin, yeah, you can speak and ask a question. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, because I haven't, really looked into your spreadsheet the calculation, but on basic instincts, right? The less you borrow, which means the less interest you need to pay the bank, then you should be able to earn more profit out of your property, right?
Not true lah, not true. Because
for example, I'm talking about the
no,
same
okay.
property.
So
Now this,
basically, because your cash outfront will be a lot lower, ma. If you borrow
yeah,
more, your cash outfront is about lower. So that's why your return is going to be higher, lor.
cash upfront is lower. That means the deposit. Okay, we call it the deposit or whatever, right? The first,
Yes,
let's
correct.
say
Yeah,
10%, 20% down payment, down payment. Yeah.
yes.
So, but what does this have to do with the whatever the return per annum? Okay, this is the part that I don't quite get
No,
it.
this
Yeah.
is your upfront investment, ma. So return is actually based on your upfront investment, lor.
But
Okay,
yeah, this is the part I don't
okay. So
understand.
maybe I
Maybe
give an
this is,
example here. If
yeah.
you invest 100, you make $50. Okay. What is your percentage return? 50%, correct?
Mm-hmm.
If you put $10, you make $50 return. What is your percentage return?
500%.
500%, correct?
But this is a property whereby you either make a profit out of selling the property after you purchase it, or you rent it out for rental income, right? But no matter what you do, once you purchase a property, okay, regardless of whether the property, the name is still under the bank or whatever, assuming this is already your property, right? So it doesn't matter how much upfront payment or the down payment
If you want to
pay,
collect
right?
percentage, is always based on your upfront payment.
So this is the way, so-called the finance way of calculate. Okay, I'm not from finance background. That's why
No,
yeah,
nothing
I
to do
just
with
use
finance
it.
background. It's really based on how much money you put in. Then I calculate your return based on money you put in. Because you borrow more, you put in less money. That's it.
But this is only on paper.
Okay, I think I have to
Yeah.
take it offline with you.
Yeah,
You maybe want to
okay.
digest a bit. So it's really based on your investment amount. So if you borrow more, okay, maybe you just go back and think about this statement. If you borrow more, you put in less investment amount. And the return is actually based on the investment amount.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, maybe you think about it, and then end of the session, we can discuss more if you need
Yeah,
to.
no
Okay.
issue. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So leverage, be careful. So thank you so much for the all the questions. So my point here is this: leverage must be careful. We will as if I want to use it as an investment, I will borrow as much as possible. I will the only time when I wouldn't want to borrow as much is when the interest rate is quite close to my potential return. Okay. So while we are going through all this is, having the mindset for investment. So I know a lot, I still see people who's like, I want to buy property but don't want to borrow money. Then it's really quite wasted because by borrowing money, you can actually increase your returns. That's how people play the game. Now, a lot of people don't see this as the power of property. Okay, I want to show you another example here. Okay, so let's say there's actually these two property. You get to choose this two property. One is assuming you have $840,000 cash, assuming you have that. So one is okay lah. I don't want to borrow money. I just go and buy a property, 800,000, renovate 40,000. Okay. Then this is what I do. I have no loan. Okay, I have no loan. Okay, eventually, when I sell that time, I can actually after all my expenses, blah blah blah, I can actually sell for, let's say, almost $1 million. Okay, and I make a profit of 152. Or the other way is, let's say, for example, 840,000, instead of just buy a 800,000 property, I go and buy a $2.4 million property. Okay, I go and buy a $2.4 million property. You can see 2.4 after loan, after renovation, same thing. I also only need to use 840,000. So in this case, 840,000, I buy $800,000 property, but no loan. In this case, $840,000, I buy a $2.4 million property with loan, of course, obviously. Okay, so eventually you can see that the profit actually not a lot of difference, only like 5-figure difference. But you can see that in the end, after I sell, can you see that, wow, the difference is 460,000. Why? Where does this additional money come from? So you can see down here, the difference is only about 70,000. Can you see the profit is only about 70,000? But then you can see if I were to see my ending cash flow, difference about 460,000. Where does the difference come from? Okay, this part a bit confusing. Okay, I repeat my question. Okay, so I'm actually comparing two scenarios. One scenario is this. I take the money. I don't want to borrow. I just go and buy whatever I can afford. So which basically means I can buy a property about $800,000. I don't have any loan. Eventually I sell. I get back about 999. Okay. The other way here is this. I take the money. I go and borrow as much as I can. So eventually I can buy actually up to 2.4 million. Okay. And when I sell, okay, I eventually, I can actually sell for 1.46. I can actually, after selling everything, I can get 146. But the funny thing here is this, you can see that the profit only 70,000. How I calculate this profit? So basically, it's all my expenses. Okay, all my expenses. Then, of course, whatever my selling price I get back, okay, minus all my expenses. Okay, the profit only difference 7,000, but the actual real cash that I have is going to be so much more. 400,000 more. Where does the additional money come from? The difference should be only about 70,000, but how come got additional money? In the end, I actually accumulate another 400,000. Okay, quite close, quite close. Higher amount invested. No, no. Okay, good that I have this example. A lot of people didn't see it. How do you justify the $400,000 difference? Okay, this is the ending cash flow. Ending cash flow. So by right, you see, I buy property, I borrow, because down here is I sell, I pay back the borrowing. But after that, wow, the money is actually a lot more. How do you justify the difference? Absolute return on the principal is higher. Correct? Yes, it's higher. If you go by really the cash, is Only about $70,000 difference. Okay. But then if you talk about the ending cash flow position, so this is the ending cash flow position. That means at year 5, after I sell the property, in this situation, year 5, after I sell the property, I put in 840,000. Okay. Along the way, of course, I have to pay admin fee. Okay. At year 5, after I sell, after I pay back, okay, sell, I have about 999. But in this case, right, same thing at year 0 today, I put in 840,000. Of course, along the way, I have to pay mortgage. But after I sell, okay, I pay off the debt, I have actually 1.4 million. Higher amount invested. This is quite interesting. No, interest rate is the same. Interest rate is the same. In fact, down here, there's no interest rate. He's actually don't borrow anything money. Okay, thank you so much, Suni. Okay, you got it. Okay, so a lot of people don't see this. So number one, you can see this mortgage. This mortgage. Okay, it's not a pure expense. Half of the money is going to pay the interest. That is correct. But the other half is to pay down the loan. So when you actually pay down the loan, in fact, if you think about it, again, having an investment mindset, you are saving money itself to the own property. Okay, when you pay off the loan, okay, in fact, you are saving money in your own property. Okay, so in fact, with a property with loan, it can actually help you to build a forced saving mechanism, which in this case, to be precise, okay, you have saved another 400,000 because you have actually created a forced saving mechanism. Yeah, is this money yours? Yes, but you think about it, if ask you to save, 95, okay, maybe 50,000. 50,000 per year, is it easier? Not easy, but if you have a property, you have to pay mortgage, then naturally you will have to do it. You're forced to do it. Okay, so in fact, this is another way for property to make money, which a lot of people see. Once you buy a property with loan, you have created a forced saving mechanism. And every month you pay mortgage, you pay interest. At the same time, you're saving money in your property by paying down the loan, by paying off the loan. Okay, you're forced to pay off the loan. Okay, so that can actually help you to save money, a bit. So this is also one very important avenue for investment to be generated. This is true provided an loan lower than the percentage of return. Okay, we can try it out. Okay, let's see. So if let's say, for example, if you say that the interest rate is 4%, for example, you still actually can save quite a bit of money. Of course, along the way, you have to pay more. If the interest rate is 5%, okay, then of course, the return is lesser. Okay, it does affect, but compared to no loan, right? Okay, eventually, your ending cash flow is actually still going to be higher. So my third point here is this. Property can also help you to accumulate wealth by, instilling this forced saving mechanism. Okay. And lastly is the release of funds. Your funds get released. Okay, again, I have this example to show. Example 3. So by the way, I'll send you this spreadsheet. You all can play around example 1, 2, 3. So assuming that, okay, in this case, I'm assuming that currently you're on a HDB, assuming it's a fully paid HDB. So if let's say you do nothing about it, you'll be very happy, 5 years later, you don't have to pay loan, so on and so forth, you will only get, after you sell, it's about 999, assuming that the property increased by 5% per annum. You make a profit 192. Okay, but very interesting, assuming you go and upgrade, assuming you upgrade the $1.5 million property, and you borrow full, your cash out front is only 525. Okay, cash upfront is only 525. So if you were to sell the property and upgrade, so in fact you will release some money lah. You'll release about 275 lah. And again, this amount of money you can again use to go and invest in, REITs, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Okay. So eventually, if let's say you talk about profit, or you get 192 profit here, compared to a combined of 222, again, you can see that not very significant. But because if you've upgraded, your ending point again is can be quite interesting. So easily another $200,000 more once you upgraded. Okay, another 200,000 more if you talk about, because you have created a forced saving mechanism here. Of course, again, if let's say this money you go and be able to go and buy another property, then there's another leverage, another forced saving mechanism. Then again, of course, this money can go out even further. So yes, that's why I said if you just treat property as a roof, then you don't see all this. But if you see investment, it can help you generate return from various ways, from leverage, from what else? Again, all these are from capital gain, okay, for leverage, for forced saving mechanism, and of course help you release the funds. Okay, suppose you have to use the same property to compare. Right now you have one is actually. No. This one I'm talking about upgrading. You sell current HDB and buy condo. Okay, I am okay. This one the story is, if let's say I'm an existing HDB, I sell, then I go and upgrade to a condo. So if I don't sell, I stick to this HDB which I'm currently sitting in. Then this amount I have. If I sell and upgrade, then I can go into a condo. I can release funds of 275, and this money can be used for other investment. So this is a storyline. Okay, thanks for your question. Good help to clarify. Okay, so any questions on this? Okay, now I'm doing all this to share with you what are the mindset you need to have. Hopefully with this, right, you can see that besides capital gain, there are different ways that the money is actually being generated, even for own stay property. So of course, all this comes with risk. Is it risky to use property as an investment? It's a big yes. No two ways about it. Okay, it's a yes. So it doesn't mean that tomorrow all go and upgrade, all go and do something. No, there's risk. Then of course it depends on individual how you actually view the risk. Okay, is it too much for you? Is it make you sleepless night? If yes, then forget it. Okay, now what are some of the risks involved? Like for example, you cannot service mortgage. So let's say touch wood. Let's say one of the spouse cannot have no job, lose their job, then cannot service mortgage. Okay, so that's a risk. Then interest rate increase. So assuming interest rate increase, then of course again got problem. Okay, on this point, okay, this one again, I think this one a lot of people are confused. Okay, question. So I need quite a few answers before I'll give my answer. Assuming that the interest rate double, does the amount of interest double also? Yes or no? Okay, please, I need more answer for this. I think a lot of people are very confused with this. I want to clarify here. Assuming that the interest rate double, does the amount of interest payable in dollar terms, does it double? Yes or no? Okay, I want to wait for maybe another three more comments, please. Okay, thank you so much. Correct. All y'all got it correct. So a lot of people were, interest rate double, my amount double also no. Okay, it's nothing about decreasing, it's just not how it's being calculated. So again, you all can play with here. Okay, so I have the interest rate and the monthly mortgage. So for this particular case whereby, okay, maybe I use the example one easier. Okay, loan is 700,000, borrow for 25 years at a 3% interest rate, for example. Okay. If interest rate 3%, the monthly mortgage is 3,319. You can go and play. If let's say interest rate double to 6%, the mortgage only went up by about $1,000. 1,002 lah to be precise. Correct? 3% is 3,3. At 6%, it's another 1,002. Okay. At 9%, okay, then probably double. So you need for the interest rate to triple, then the mortgage amount then double. Okay, so of course, there is this time value of money calculation there. I probably have to do it another time if any of you are interested. But okay, the taking away here is don't be so worried that if interest rate go up by 5%, I die. No lah. Okay, the payable amount it doesn't double, even if interest rate double. Also something to take note. So regardless, this is still one of the main risks. So of course, payable increase. Then what if, let's say, the price of the property decreases? Then what's going to happen? We can always assume that property price keep going up. So basically, if you want to play this game, you must have all these mitigating factors. So you must keep buffer funds. What we suggest is minimum at least 6 months. Okay, buffer funds means that, okay, the amount of money you can pay for the mortgage. Like for example, in this case, assuming this, so let's say your mortgage per year is 39,834. This is per year. So your buffer fund should be at least about 20,000, 6 months. Okay. Of course, you can do for 1 year buffer fund, that is even better. So you must have buffer funds. Then you must be ready to play the rental spread game. So if let's say, for example, for certain reasons, you cannot service the mortgage. So what you can do is you can rent out the property, then you go and stay in somewhere else. So using the rental to go and cover the mortgage. Then the third one is to be prepared to right size. You can actually, go back. Sell the property and go and buy back HDB. So like for example, in this case, so assuming you upgraded, you can see, so you sell your 800,000 HDB, then you go upgrade to 1.5 million condo, for example. So let's say, for example, 5 years later, you want to downgrade back, you can. So at that point in time, the HDB will be about, okay. The HDB is actually going to be about 1 million, you can see. So assuming 5 years later, you say, I got no money to pay mortgage or whatever reasons. So assuming that both increase by 5%, your condo also increase by 5%, your HDB also increase by 5%. So 5 years later, your HDB become 1 million. So in this case, 5 years later, from your property, you have 915, but don't forget you have another 29 here. So your total cash should be 1.2. So if you want to downgrade back, you can. Okay, so what if the price actually don't go up? So let's say the price remains 0%. Okay, there's no price increase. Okay, there's no price increase. So can you still afford to go back? Let's see. So basically 1.5. Eventually you have $800,000. So again, you can go and check the spreadsheet. Then HDB 800,000, okay. So of course the situation, the only situation that get you in trouble is, let's say for example there's a price decrease. Let's say price decrease by let's say price decrease by 10%, for example. Price decrease by 10%. Okay, for example, then Oh, sorry. I think it's a bit too aggressive. But let's say price increase by 3%, 3% per annum. This is per annum, sorry. Price decrease by 3%. Then got problem lah. Then HDB will be 686. Then you only have 593. Okay? Of course, can it happen? So if it really does, then sway lah, no choice. This is investment, no choice. But if you ask me, generally speaking, I think the worst case will be there is no increase. That of course will bring me to my next point, which is basically when you want to buy a property, then of course must be very careful. Buy property whereby that is likely for the price to go up. Okay, because the principal amount is decreasing. I guess this is the reason why some people say own sale cannot be investment because the cost of shooting house can be too big for some families. To which is own, I mean, you want to use that investment, okay, there is going to be some trouble. There's going to be some inconvenience. It's not for everybody, Yep. Of course, there's no perfect solution. Then you just have to ask yourself whether there's the potential additional income. Does it make sense or not? Okay. Definitely not a solution for everybody. A point of clarification, please, on interest rate. Arvin, you want to unmute yourself to elaborate your questions a bit? Yeah.
I do. Hi, Aiman.
Hi.
So I think the question that you asked was if your interest rate doubles,
Yep.
It does your interest payment double?
Yes.
And I think it does. The issue is that if it is a repayment mortgage, that means you're paying with capital, then it doesn't double. But if it is a interest only mortgage, then I think your interest rate, when your interest rate doubles, your repayment actually doubles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Yep. I agree with you. Thank you so much. So to be precise, what I should have said is when interest rate double, the mortgage payment doesn't double. Correct, right?
Yeah.
If I phrase it this way, but you're right. You're correct. Thank you so much. You're right. Thank you so much. Okay. But personally, I will be only concerned about mortgage because that is the one where I worry whether I can fork out. Okay, but you are correct. So thanks, Arvin, for bringing this up. So to be very precise, the point I'm trying to put across here is this: when interest rate double, the mortgage payment doesn't double. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. Does a mortgage payment double? Okay, good. So to end it off, to summarize, so basically, I'm talking about own stay property as an investment. So number one, why you do it? With own stay property, there is a few things that you can do. Let's do a little quick recap. With own stay property, there's a few things you can do. Okay, you can release funds, you can play rental spread game, you can store your wealth, okay, you can do legacy. So to want to use your own stay property, okay, this is the mindset that you actually need to have. So number one, you may actually want to buy bigger property. So it's not really based on your need, but rather how much you can afford. You should get as big as possible. Yeah, for reasons that we mentioned just now. Okay, number one, bigger property, the absolute capital gain is going to be higher. Then you can right size. Or you can play the rental spread game if you want to. Okay, that's the mindset you need to have. Number two is actually focus on mortgage and not total loan amount. Okay, focus on mortgage and not the total loan amount. So like, for example, a lot of people say that, wow, I stay in HDB, so shiok, no loan. Then after that, you know, I go upgrade, go and take $1 million loan, you know, not worth it. So of course, sure, to each his own. But you know, we as an investor, we just see that, okay, how much mortgage, then how much buffer funds can we have to cover mortgage? So if you think that makes sense, that is good to go there. Okay. So we are not so concerned about the total loan. Okay. So I know this is a bit controversial. Again, like I said, this is not for everybody. Is it risky? It is risky. There are risks involved. So as in all other investment, okay, you take risks to get return. Okay. So I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not encouraging everybody to do this. But I'm just saying, if you want to use own stay, this is some of the mindset that you may have. And of course, if it's suitable for you, sure, why not? Okay. Then we will see that part of our mortgage payment is actually investment and not all expense. Also, basically, you think about it, when we actually pay mortgage, like for example, now every time I pay mortgage, I don't totally see it, wow, money out. No, in fact, I am also saving money inside my property. Okay. Yep. So, like for example, when you have this investment mindset, right? You know, property is in your overall financial plan, overall fund management plan. Okay, most of the time, property will take up a huge sum of our money. So personally, with a property investment mindset, I will see how the money, even for own property, you know, can be part of the financial plan. Of course, with this mindset, you have to prepare to right size, to play rental spread game. So if you are the type that say that, okay, after I buy this property, I die, I have to stay this for next 30 years, then cannot play lah. Then sorry lah, then cannot lah. Then you just stick it as a roof over your head. And lastly, the mindset you need to have is you need to choose property with growth potential, not so much on your own preference. So just now we talk about it, you know, if let's say you buy property with the price decrease or in fact don't grow, is very risky. So for us to mitigate that risk, we have to buy property with growth potential. Okay. Not so much on own preference. So let's say, for example, I think he put a good point. So let's say you want to consider things like kids near school, then maybe then it's a little bit difficult already. Okay. So these are the mindset that you need to have if you actually want to use own property as an investment. Okay. Any questions, comments? Questions or comments? Okay, again, a disclaimer, I'm not encouraging you all to do anything. Hopefully what I just done is just give you a different perspective. You know, for those who have treated own property as a roof, we are very comfortable. Please go ahead. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. What I'm saying here is this, you know, different people can look at own stay property very differently. I just want to share another perspective. Like one reason, I was actually staying in a smaller property before. I was very comfortable there. So one reason why I moved into my current one is I would say is 80% because of investment. In terms of my lifestyle, I don't think I have improved a lot. Or in fact, I don't think I've improved much. I think the room size, my current room size is still the same. I used to stay at 26th floor. Now I'm staying on the 5th floor. I used to be of sort of like more centralized location, I want to put it now. But you know, because I see this as an investment, that's why I actually made the switch. Okay. So I'm just sharing what are some of the reasons why I actually shift and what are some of the mindsets that I have for me to shift. Okay, questions, comments? Anybody?